Look, today I want to ask a question that it seems like Elgato never seems to ask themselves. Have we gone too far? This is the Stream Deck Plus XL, and it is a behemoth. It's huge. I think they should have named it the Stream Deck Chongus. Let me paint a picture here. Here we have a Stream Deck XL. This has 32 buttons. This has 36 buttons. Here we have a Stream Deck Plus. This has 4 dials. This one has 6 dials. So it wins everywhere, and it is very big. So at what point do we decide we've flown a little too close to the sun? I would like to propose 3 scenarios to you, especially if you're not sure if this is too much or not. This will be a fun thought experiment to see where you land on this. Then I will tell you some things that you need to know about this, especially if you're interested in picking it up, and we'll talk about the price and if it's even a good value to begin with. So, scenario number 1. When I got the Stream Deck XL in the mail, I laughed at it. I took a picture, I sent it to a friend, I said, this is insane. Why would anybody need this? And I found uses over the years. I feel like I've become a goldfish where you give me more buttons, I'm gonna learn to use them, and then I can't go back to just the regular 15 after that. One of my favorite reasons for having a lot of buttons is I can put buttons on here that I might only use once or twice a year, and I don't have to feel bad about them. For example, flashback recording. Something happens on stream that I want to be able to clip and throw on YouTube or throw on TikTok or whatever. I hit a button and it retroactively records the previous 60 seconds. That was my normal flashback button, 60 seconds. But what if it was a longer conversation and I wanted 2 minutes or 5 minutes? Or what if I forgot to record it and 10 minutes later I went, oh, I gotta grab that. I want a 15-minute button. It was hard to justify doing that when I had 15 buttons, but if I got 36 buttons, sure, I'll put 5 flashback recording buttons on there at all different lengths, just in case. And I still mostly use the 1-minute one, but I think I used the 5-minute one time, and I was happy it was there. Scenario number 2. It is nice to have spacing between your buttons. Buttons that you literally leave blank just to organize the screen and make it easier to navigate. For the longest time, my layout of my Stream Deck XL was all of my scenes and sources and transitions in the top left corner, my flashback buttons along the right side, and my switches to turn on and off my cameras in the bottom left. I think in total, I only used 15 to 16 buttons, and so I technically could have done it on a regular Stream Deck, but having them laid out with spacing in between them meant I could see them faster. I knew exactly where it was. I didn't have to search through a full page of buttons. Could have done it on a regular Stream Deck, but it was nicer on the big one. Also controlling certain peripherals, like if you need arrow buttons for controlling your PTZ camera, like the Insta360 Link 2 Pro. You can set up a traditional D-pad on the side without it taking up 60% of your buttons. But let me take a second to tell you a little bit more about the brand new Insta360 Link 2 and Link 2C Pro, since they are the sponsor of this video. Insta360 has basically taken everything you love about the super popular Link 2 and Link 2C and then completely beefed them up, starting with a massive sensor. The new sensor in these webcams is considerably larger than the previous generation. That means you're getting way more light going into the camera, capturing a much higher quality image. When you get this much more light entering your camera, what you end up with is a much higher quality image and better colors, especially in your shadowy areas and in your super bright areas. A larger sensor also gives you more background blur, which is another thing that makes it look more like a professional camera. And they added a number of other things into these Pros, including a wider field of view. They added an extra mic to the top so you can get more directional audio if you want to use your webcam's microphone. And they added something really cool called track area, because you know this camera can already follow you around the room. Well, now you can set a boundary of if you walk outside this, it's not going to follow me anymore. That way, if you want to like walk past the camera, it's not going to follow you real awkwardly and give your audience vertigo. Or if you really love the image quality of this new camera, but you don't care about the motors, the Link 2C is $50 cheaper and it has the exact same camera, just none of the motors in it. So if you've been in the market for a new webcam and you want something that looks spectacular, I'll put a link to the Link 2 Pro and Link 2C Pro in the description down below. Scenario number 3, you really utilize dials, like me. I just found that 4 dials wasn't enough for what I used. I needed 3 dials to control my 3 main volume things, my game, my music, and my teammates. And then I constantly used 3 other dials to control individual volumes of my teammates in Discord, because sometimes you got someone with a loud mic or a quiet mic. So I've been using 2 Stream Deck Pluses for the last couple of years because I didn't want to have to swipe back and forth between pages. 6 dials is kind of the sweet spot for me. So when Elgato showed this to me at TwitchCon, I thought that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Why do we need that? But realistically, I'm probably gonna get used to it and never be able to go back. But I'm interested to know your take on this conversation. Important questions I know you guys are gonna ask. What about backpacks? Things like this little USB hub, which I actually added on myself. I wanted to see if it would work. You are able to put the USB hub. The XLR hub fits, but the current one won't work. And that's due to power consumption. Apparently a single USB port can't power both this massive screen and buttons and also an entire audio interface with a preamp inside of it. I hope at some point they'll release something beefier that goes in the back so I can have an audio interface on here as well. But for now, the USB hub is the only one that you can throw on there. But how about its value? Is it worth the $350 price tag? So let's compare to what's already out there. The Stream Deck XL is $250. Buying a Stream Deck Plus XL is like picking up a Stream Deck XL and then paying an extra $100 to add 4 more buttons and 6 dials. And considering a Stream Deck Plus, which has 8 more buttons and 4 dials, is $200, I'd say just in terms of value of what's already out there, this is a great value if those are things that you need. And if that's not you, then it's not you. But considering the last month on Amazon, 1,000 people have bought this device, which is like 4 years old, and 2,000 people have bought this device, I think there's a solid market for something like this. But I do need to warn you, this is very big. It legitimately doesn't fit under my monitor at its highest setting. Still gonna use it though, still excited to use it. And as always, happy streaming.